Hello.
Hi there.
How you doing, Kung Fu?
I'm good. So, let's hear about your run. Those of you who have been tuning in to the Frame Fatale already today may have heard me a little bit earlier during my Kirby run, but now we have the awesome Why World 2 happening now with gliitchwiitch. How's it going?
I'm doing really well. We should probably bounce into it, but
Yeah.
so right away in this, and it's not time to start yet, you'll see like a character select screen. It's just all a bunch of different like Konami classic characters. Like you've got your Goemon build from Contra and Getsufuma. That's usually what we go with the speedrun, and time is going to be when I hit A on this change character screen. So I'm going to give myself a 3, 2, 1, and go. Basically, what this video game is, it's this big mashup of a whole bunch of different Konami franchises, which is kind of my favorite thing ever, is just little mashups. The story is kind of a throwaway thing. There's a Princess Herb that was kidnapped, and so Dr. Cinnamon, who is the doctor from the first game, which there's another one in this franchise, sent this robot to go rescue her, and there's really nothing more you need to see. You're going to see a little bit of this character, but we're going to be not him as much as physically possible. And also, just because everybody loves them, this game opens with a full 10-minute auto-scroller. But,
Oh, nice. That's what you want.
yeah, I guess it's like just enough time to give an intro about what's going on with the video game. So you just saw me pick up that little C power-up, and now you've got some flashing boxes in the bottom left that represent different characters I can transform into. So Wriggle, the character I'm playing as now, is the only one that can actually take damage. And when I transform, basically what's going to happen is I have a limited amount of time with another character. As I get hit with that, I'll just lose time. Otherwise, you just have a minute with it. So to transform, it's just up in A. So we are going to swap over to the Contra Bill Riser, because he has the ability to shoot directly upwards, and he's got somewhat of a higher jump. What's really good to have is another one of these change power-ups while you're transformed, just because you'll just be totally fine. Like, if you run out of time, you just transform again, or you can just use it again, and you will just get back all of your time and not take any damage. Since it's a 10-minute auto-scroller, you don't want to die. Or at least lose all 5 lives.
Yeah, with that being the beginning of the game, how does that affect those who may be new to this game for the first time?
Like, in terms of running it, it's just really, like, all you need to do is to be prepared at the final boss, or the boss of the, this 3-section auto-scroller with Getsufuma, because he'll deal a ton of damage. But mostly, it's not a challenging auto-scroller. It's here just to kind of, I guess, teach you the mechanics of the video game, which are not all that intense that you need 10 minutes to really work them out. Transforming is not really, like, apparent as to what to do up front, which is something I just kind of accidentally did. And this is Getsufuma from a game that never came out in the States, the titular Legend of Getsufuma. He's got a slightly lower jump, but he's got this sword, and this sword deals a ton of damage, which is pretty much the character I'm going to want on most bosses, with the exception of 2, which I want to use Bill. The third character I have in this suite is Goemon, and we probably will just not ever see him unless I hit a wrong button, or maybe I can be bored during this auto-scroller and show him to people. But in the meantime, we've got silly little robots, things that almost look like they fell out of Mega Man coming later, and there's going to be 3 weird sections to this auto-scroller. They're all going to be slightly different, but really not that exciting. When we get into other stuff, we'll start to see like kind of references to other games and whatnot, and some classic music that probably people will recognize. But in the meantime, just get really comfy for this very slow scrolling.
It's okay, I've been there.
Yeah, your run... Oh, not yours.
No, mine has several auto-scrollers in the game.
Yeah, I was watching. That was a pretty neat run.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, on the N64 generation, I missed like all the Kirby stuff, so it was good to watch things.
It's okay, it was one of my first Kirby games. But it's super fun. So this seems like a combination of games. Do you know how this game was made and how that affects the run?
I'm not 100% sure how they decided to go make a mashup game, but it's just Konami being Konami. This is not the end of the first auto-scroller, but that is the first section that's ending. And the game's going to change a little bit drastically to this little, like, side-scrolling shooting section, which is neat, and you can kind of hit different buttons to fire in different directions, and then it is never used throughout the rest of the game ever again. And there's no boss, and just there's a lot of very easy-to-shoot enemies here. And really, we're just kind of cruising along here. Eventually we'll land, and there'll be another platforming section that auto-scrolls. And then we'll have control of this video game. And we can make it go a little bit faster. But mostly, the trick is to keep moving and get quick kills on bosses. And don't die.
How much time do you tend to lose if you die? Let's say not on the auto-scroller. Or if you die on the auto-scroller, do you just go back to this section? Or the whole thing?
You do have 5 lives and you respawn right on the spot. So you don't lose much time. Losing all 5 lives, you'll go back to the beginning of the auto-scroller. You'll have to repeat literally the entire thing.
Oh no.
Which, that's any time you die or game over in this game. It's always back to the beginning of the level. The other levels are significantly shorter.
Okay.
There's only one, I guess technically there's other auto-scrollers in it, but they're much more exciting and much more fun to play. And we'll see a few different genres. I guess. Tutorial for something that you'll never see again. But when this is over, things will be exciting again. Oh gosh. In the meantime, it's just trying to metagame it and see, okay, can I just hit everything without getting hit? Which is usually easy. Okay. But anyway, regarding this video game, and this section's about to end, and we'll have another on foot section, I kind of found it just kind of randomly. I found the first game, which is more of a Metroidvania style game with different areas. It's brutally difficult, otherwise I'd try to run it myself. 2 is a lot more relaxed, it's a lot more fun. It's kind of really silly and kind of cutish, which is cool. But I love mashups in any way. You can give me movies that just kind of have a bunch of different characters from a bunch of different franchises, and I'm 100% in. Unfortunately, this level 1 is just, here's this robot. At least we have different music now. I'll bust out Goemon, because we'll probably never see him the rest of the game. He's got this slightly ranged attack, not really a great jump. He doesn't really do anything remarkable. He just kind of throws flutes.
But as we're on the auto-scroller, it doesn't seem like it's going to waste a ton of time.
No, not at all. I just want to make sure I'm not playing as him when I get to the end, which we've got a few elevators and we'll be there. There is one move that kind of is shared across all the characters, is you've got this bomb, which you hold the button down, you'll start to flash. There is no graphic for it going off, but it just kills all the enemies on the screen, as you just saw the whole one enemy that died out of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
It's not a really useful thing at all, but, it's something.
Well, if it kills all the enemies on the screen, doesn't that tend to be useful?
You don't have it often enough, and it takes a little while to charge, so
okay, I see.
You're usually better off just trying to keep moving. Later on, I'll probably use it during Goemon stage, just so I can get through some enemies without taking hits. But most of the time, you're just going to see me running to the right as quickly as possible and not taking hits, or trying not to take hits. Although it's really not a big deal. The last time I played through this, the game was very rude to me and did not give me a change power-up before that boss, but it's not the end of the world. So right now I'm going to play as Rickle until it gives me that power-up we just see right in front of me. So I'm never at a point where I have to play as him. He's kind of unremarkable. He's got a really short-range laser. He doesn't deal a lot of damage, but he does have a double jump, which is really good. The double jump will come in handy on the next stage, but in the meantime, we slowly proceed onwards. Alright. Thankfully, as bad as dying in the auto-scroller would be and, losing maybe 9 minutes of the game, you're not gonna die, unless, you play unbelievably poorly. Which I've done. Let's get me very, very clear there. I have died in this auto-scroller.
Oh, I'm sure I would too.
That's not happening today. Ow. There's our double jump. Alright. Alright, I am going to transform a little early without the power-up. Just because I really don't want Rickle to get killed there. Which you saw, he's the only one that takes any hearts of damage. There will be healing items. They don't work unless you're playing as him, otherwise it just gives you time. But we'll avoid playing as him as much as possible. There is a second player option in this game too, where the second player just literally plays as a blue version of him. And it's just the exact same game. But it's really neat to have any sort of like simultaneous co-op nowadays. Or I guess this wouldn't be nowadays, would it? Oh, and these stars that you have seen me pick up here, they just make you invincible for a little bit. You tend not to see them too much. Unfortunately, there seems to be no way to actually manipulate the transform power-up to show up, so there's times where you just kind of end up not having it and you need to do your best without it. And those are usually dangerous and involve dying.
I see. So it looks like those are pretty RNG spawns for the power-ups, you saying?
Yeah, they definitely are. I think
Are
there's a
enemies
way
the
to...
same way, or do they spawn in the same place?
They tend to spawn in the same place sometimes. Okay, so we're approaching the first boss here, so this auto-scroller's over. Everyone can just rejoice that we've made it. Very
We did
traditional
it.
first boss, this battleship with legs.
Chat, we did it.
So it doesn't matter too much if he hits me, because it's going to die very quickly. Like that. So that's our first level down. We can rejoice. We don't need to panic about playing the entire game over again. And we can see what comes next, because it is like a fun variety of stages that come next. The next stage is just literally run to the right, but, you know, still. It's a new setting. There's some music from another game. Alright, and we're going to get some choices later on where we want to go. So this is World 2, this is Old Edo, this is Goemon stage. It's going to be just music from Mystical Ninja or just the Goemon series on the NES. A bunch of enemies pulled out of it. And despite it being Goemon stage, we're not going to play as Goemon. I'm sorry. You're going to see me trying to turn around very little and just keep proceeding to the right. And as long as we can keep doing that, we'll keep the level moving. The less I can hit the left direction, the quicker we'll get through this. It also means just timing out some jumps so you don't end up in a pit, because pits are still just instant death. And trying to... any enemies that's chasing me is usually a problem, because they will usually catch up to you.
Can I ask about the RRR in a way down in the right corner? Oh no, that's just for the other player.
Yeah, that's just the other player's character selection.
Okay.
Okay, so this stage is just 2 sections. So there's this first little let's stop, awkwardly run to the right, and then we have just more stage. So we are just going to play as another character here, just to be able to tank some hits. I should have picked somebody else, but c'est la vie. Can't take that back now. I'm hoping for one more change power before the end of the stage, and I'll just run by as Rickle the rest of the time. Because I could have made that jump way better. Oh gosh, that's bad. Alright, note to self, do not play as Fuma here. So Fuma's run out. I'm going to try to keep this moving as Rickle, which shouldn't be a problem. And really hope for a power-up. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Oh, never mind. I lied. So we should be coming up on the next boss soon. As long as I don't get killed right now, because I will lose the power-up if I do die, which might happen? Nah, it won't. Oof. Okay, one more hit would be bad. So we should be safe here. I was hoping for a little extra time, but I think we should still be able to kill this boss without a problem. Which is Samurai on a pogo stick. This spot is relatively safe. He'll hit you a few times, but you'll get through it pretty quick. Without that boss, he goes all over the screen, he kind of dances around. You just don't have the positioning to fight him if you're not this character.
Oh, wow.
And I usually will die twice to him or something. So this is our first choice of level. This is Dr. Cinnamon. He's kind of like the guy who hired the robot. We have Donbut Island and RPG Island. RPG Island's a little quicker. And we will not be playing a side-scroller for this level. We will be playing a different genre and different game entirely, basically. It is a Twin B-side story, which fans of Twin B, shout out to you. That game's awesome. So now this game is something completely different. At least for a stage. What you're going to see me doing is hitting some bells and hitting them a few times after that to change their color. Depending on the color of the bell is a different power-up. Oops, that's bad. That's alright. We have plenty of lives. Dying resets your ship entirely. But it's not the end of the world. I am waiting for more clouds to get some bells. All I want to make sure I have at the end of this level is... Okay, let me just get that thing there. I want to end this level with some specific power-ups. So it'll make the boss very, very quick. So I want this white bell. Alright, so that's a double shot. And the next one should give me like little clones. I'm looking for, I think it's a pink bell. Which is one more step past white. So now we've got some clones. This will shoot a whole lot more and it'll burn the boss down when we do get to it. You'll see a whole lot of fruit on the ground. You do not want to touch that. It's bad. Anything you kill on the ground will drop it. But the more you pick up, you have a chance to go to this sub-level that's longer than the actual level of the game. Which is not a great choice for trying to run the game. So one more on that. Oh gosh, okay, that was weird. Alright, that's fine. That's less fine. No worries still. Get ourselves a bell. Thankfully, regardless of everything flying on the screen, it is pretty easy to recover in this stage. I think I am just getting killed because I am trying to entertainingly commentate this, but... We're at the boss without a proper amount of power-ups. We'll still kill it pretty quickly. It's this little dragon, and this level is kind of all themed RPG stuff, as you've kind of noticed. Oh. Is there an audio issue of some sort?
I think we're okay. Let me see. Not on our end. We're all good.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I could always do that, and I think that should fix anything I have going on. So that's the dragon. I just had to basically mash that down. There is this section now where you're flying at the screen. There's nothing to do here. You can collect bells, you get points, but it just makes the end level screen way longer. So we're just gonna fly straight forward and take a minute to think about video games and how much we enjoy.
So since this is a culmination of a bunch of different things, is there a general plot to the game that we should be paying attention to at all?
So, the plot was Princess Herb was kidnapped by Warumon, which is this weird-looking clown robot thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we are a robot sent by Dr. Cinnamon to go rescue Princess Herb. So, apparently to do that, he drops us off on the far left side of this island, and we have to go all the way to the right side of the island and into space afterwards to get him.
Of course. Yeah, that's the only way to do it.
In the first game, it was less of a princess and more of just like, here is just straight up like, this is the Castlevania level. This is the Goemon level. And you're kind of collecting people and power-ups and playing a bit of a Metroidvania there with a bunch of different playable characters.
Mm-hmm.
It is brutally difficult. So that's World 3. That's our first top-down shooter level. This is Konami, man. This is the hero of the first game, and you've probably seen him in a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Such as Goonies. He shows up in Goonies a ton. Just to heal you. So this is World 4, and now it's Contra. So, this is what you could expect from this stage. Ow. I will just for tradition's sake, play as Bill. Because why not? There is no water at the bottom, despite it looking like there's water at the bottom. That will just kill you if you go down there. But Bill can shoot in a bunch of different directions. I'm gonna get one more power before I move on. Just in case. Oh, okay. Never mind, we're going on now. The command to change is up and jump. So if you're just kind of being a little loose with the controller, you'll just change characters.
Oh no.
Not a huge deal. Bill's a lot better here because he can fire in a bunch of different directions, but as soon as another power-up comes by, we'll grab him.
Mm-hmm.
Should be right here. Okay, there we go. So we'll stick with this for a little bit until we get low number-wise. And then we'll swap over to Bill. And then we'll see a very traditional Contra boss at the end of it. Get your bets in now, because here it is. This one we do want Bill for. We're going to take advantage of when you're jumping with him, you could fire up a whole lot faster. Sort of. It's easier when you're shooting at something. So our boss is Alien on a motorbike. Flying scooter motorbike of some sort. Traditional Contra boss. But we're just going to stand underneath him and fire upwards at him, and this is why we want Bill. Or we can get a power-up and change to Goemon.
Oh no.
That's alright. Goemon making a huge appearance in this run. Way more than anything else.
He just wants to show off. It's okay.
He doesn't get a lot of love in the speedrun, so I guess we need to do it now. Shoutouts to our penguin friend. Alright. So this next level is from a game that is near and dear to my heart. And I need to shout out to Eon for that one, because this game's awesome. But it is a level from Biomiracle, or as some people lovingly call, the baby game. Also, Upa, the baby itself, is playable in this game, but it's just not good. They can't really jump, they don't deal damage. They can make enemies into platforms, but that's about as good as they can do, and that's not necessary at any point.
And they don't do damage at all?
They do a little bit of damage, but nothing more than, like, a Rickle shot.
Oh, no.
But they do give us this fun little stage, and then the next one, which is the slowest thing in the world.
Oh, no. Well, this one's cute.
Vertical swimming auto-scroller, and it just takes forever. It's not a 10-minute auto-scroller like we saw. Okay, I don't need that. I don't know why I actually tried to stop to get that. There's no boss, there's no nothing, it's just go to the right. And don't die. It is easy to die here, I guess. And much like every level of Biomiracle, you open a chest and get carried away by angels. And now the second Biomiracle stage. This is kind of like a unique stage to this game. It's not in Biomiracle. This level design and layout is not even in it. There are vertical scrolling stages in that. None of them have green water with stars in them. We just really need to wait for the screen. There's very few enemies. This is by far the worst part of this game. And
this one level.
Yep. Just you don't know what to do. You can't, like, take a break and walk away. Like, even the part earlier when literally nothing was happening, that was better. Because you could just get up and take, like, a quick break or something.
Mm-hmm.
This, if you scroll off the bottom, you're dead. If you swim up too far, you'll probably die because there's enemies and spikes up there. You just gotta wait. And there's not really any drops in this stage. There's no way to get a power-up unless you're playing as Upa. And then you can use your little rattle to open the Upa blocks. Otherwise, we'll just kind of hang out here. Once again, contemplate our lives in video games. I would grind down the world record again, because I had it for a little while in this, if I didn't have to play that 10-minute scroller in the beginning, and this. But I do absolutely adore this game, and I had to show everybody it. So that's a door that goes out another door up top. Except, the screen's not there yet, so basically you just disappear until you show up, which is there. It's a fun little effect, because you just disappear for a while, and the first time, and any time anyone goes there for the first time, it just feels like, okay, I'm disappeared and I broke the game. I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. Luckily, this stage is almost through, and there are auto-scrollers after it, but they're much better.
Because you're not swimming?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess you literally wouldn't be swimming in any of those.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to not swimming. I guess I do want to shout out Muffins and all of GDQ giving me the chance to play this game on stream. It's such a cool little game, and it's so silly, and it's a lot of fun. Like, it's a good game to pick up with a friend and just play through, aside from maybe these auto-scrolling levels. But, you know, make your friend play both characters, walk away, get a break, get some ice cream, and come back.
How hard is it to play as both characters?
At the same time, I've never tried it. I can imagine it's very difficult.
New category?
I'll play with it. I can do that. I have been messing around with some one-player, two-controller stuff, which, by default, I always, and this is a weird fact that you wouldn't see there, but I play with the NES controller upside down. Like, I've had it held upside down the entire time I've been playing this.
Oh, interesting.
So, giving me a second controller holding it right side up, I'm still able to manipulate that without a problem. Like, I can flip the controller back and forth as many times as I need to. So, it's not too confusing to do that. But keeping track of Rickle and I forgot the other character, I think it's literally named Blue Rickle, is not an easy task.
Mm-hmm.
But we're at the top here. This level's almost behind us. We can't swim any higher than this little black bounding box, which I always found interesting. Because it just goes from water to space. But once again, treasure chest, and it takes us away from this accursed level.
You did it!
We had so much fun and we did it.
You did it.
So, coming up next is a choice between a puzzle game and a racing game. And typically you pick the puzzle game because it's quicker, but the puzzle game's just not as interesting. So we're going to do the car race, so people can see fun times. Technically an auto-scroller, but it's, you know, it's actually just kind of like bump and jump again. So you have this little car, you can jump, you bump the cars into the railing, and don't die. When I was first learning to run this, the only runner on the board had played through this minigame, and that's just kind of what the run was. Recently I've discovered you can go to the puzzle game and just fail it as quickly as possible, and that counts as beating the puzzle game, and it's about 30 seconds quicker than going through all of this. But, GDQ audience, I wanted you to see this fun little car game. Not really racing, so car racing is not a great name for it. It's more just like car driving a bit.
And destroying.
Yes. There is some hedge trimming.
Mm-hmm.
There is a missile power-up also you can get here. It's not great. The only challenging part of this is going to come from the final boss of the level, which is this big truck. And really, if I'm playing smart, I shouldn't get killed by it. It is a big wall for new runners, though. Well, it was when people thought you had to do this. I'm trying to get a missile launcher in here, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But mostly, the big truck is going to bump you left and right, and the track's going to get smaller and bigger as you go. And as long as you just don't run into the wall, you'll be okay. So just jump in the air. It can't kill you by touching you. In fact, touching it only hurts the truck. Which is here. But touching that railing to the right will just kill you immediately. Okay, truck, I need you to move a little further down. So you'll see me jumping to not fall off the track when it gets a little tighter. Should only be another hit or two. Oh, there. Another hit till I die, apparently. Anyway, that's what the truck does to you.
Oh, no.
And that's World 6. That's car races, everybody. We did it, friends. Alright. Now we move on to... I think it's literally just like the Underworld. And it is just... This is your Getsufuma stage. It is a stage where you scroll to the left, which is a precedent set by later stages in this game. It's not a bad stage. It's just moving left. You want a Getsufuma power-up as soon as possible in this, because he can break these little skull blocks, and inside them are usually healing items. Rickle can do it also, but, you know, Rickle dies pretty quickly if he gets hit. You know, 1-up. Heck yeah.
Is this a level where you tend to get hit more often?
It is.
Or is it just helpful to be able to break the boxes because then you can afford to get hit?
You do tend to get hit more often. There's a lot on the screen.
Okay.
And plus the lava hurts you if you're in there, and picking a wrong character in this stage is pretty devastating. I'm just gonna fall in this pit, don't mind me. It is pretty devastating.
Okay.
I did not mean to fall in that pit. As well, if you've got a character you can damage boost through these things here. And I'm not going to risk taking a game over. I might do that in a later stage, because it is a bunch of different stages in a row. So Getzo can get through these blocks real easily, which is really just a health power-up. I did not need that. Whereas Rickle, you need to jump a few times to try to get to where you need to. Now I'm probably going to grab this power-up and just hold it for a little bit and not use it, because I don't want to get to the boss and not have it. Which is right here. The boss is a really, really, really built Minotaur, and he will beat the heck out of you if you're in the wrong spot. He will jump and land on you. You want to get him like right there because he can't jump on you. And that's a really quick kill of that Minotaur. Usually he'll end up on the platform above me and just jump around the room a whole lot.
Oh,
But
wow.
he takes a billion hits if you're playing as not Getsu. Okay, here is our last decision. There's Ebisumaru. We're going to take the Vic Viper. There's Takiyabu Fort and Moai Runes. Moai Runes are much quicker. And it's a lot easier. And now we are going to play another completely different game. Which, shout out to Gradius. And Moai Heads. Another very familiar game that we will play now.
And we're in space.
And we're in space! We've made
There
it to
you go.
space, everybody!
It's nice that this run has a bunch of different types of levels, so it's not just...
Yeah, it's not just
It
a bunch
doesn't
of
feel
versions of
one note,
platforming.
for sure.
It's this cool little mix of a whole bunch of genres.
Yeah, it's nice.
So anyone who's played this game, or any of the Gradius games, knows you kind of want to build a certain thing with how you use your power-ups, and what you're doing with those is you are picking up the little power-ups, and that gives you a little notch on your screen at the bottom. And when you hit A, it uses it on whatever slot it's in, so you can kind of build how you want your power-ups. These things are very easy to die to, and dying completely resets all of your power-ups. So we don't want that to happen. So we are just going to very strategically dance around them. Also, your ship has little feet that come out when you're close enough to the ground, and it is adorable. Try to get those on screen again. There we go. The little feet are my favorite part of the whole Gradius section.
Can you actually... Does it... It never... But it never walks. It still floats, right?
It does. It just kind of walks. Look at it.
Oh, that's so cute. That's awesome.
It just kind of walks along the thing. It's so adorable. Alright, we are almost fully powered, just in time for me probably to die and lose all my power-ups. Which is kind of how this goes, usually. Alright, we do not need anything else. So we will just try to get through the stage. And if we don't lose anything, the boss will be extremely easy. If we do lose something, the boss will take a little bit longer. Just very gently navigate these, stand on that pillar for a little bit. It's very... it's kind of dangerous to walk along the ground, just because if you do hit down too much, you will just hit the ground and die. But still, it's worth it to show off for everybody.
Oh, is it like impact if you're too close to the ground then?
Yeah.
Oh,
Running
so you
into
have
the
to be
ground
really
will kill
careful.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's no reason to do it other than it looks cute, which is good enough for me.
You would think that if it had feet, it would be okay touching the ground without issue.
What do you think?
Interesting.
This is so much easier. It's been a while since I've made it here without dying somewhere in the stage. And these things just die so much quicker, or at all. Alright. So here's our boss. It's just a bunch of Moai heads are going to jump around. with a bunch of power-ups, they go pretty quick. Like that. So now, that's probably the end of the Gradius section. But no, it can't be Gradius without a big core fight. So now we get to fight a big core. This counts as its own stage. It's got some of my favorite music in it, and I love big core in anything it gets put in. We did lose all of our power-ups getting into it, but we should hopefully get a full suite during this stage. Okay, let's get a whole bunch of things here. We want 2 options, laser and a missile. In a perfect world. We might have to settle for 1 laser. Which is fine. Okay, so this is the big core. It's got a 1 weak point in the middle. Basically what we're going to do is just fly around it a few times and then actually fight it. Ooh, we got both our options. It is kind of a big fish. Like, you never see the back of a big... Oh, yeah, I guess you do see the back of a big core when Gradius has top-down stages, or Light Force, really. But it's a big fish. I thought that's cool. So we're just going to dance in circles here and wait for it. Dying here would be not great. This level would take so much longer if I died. This boss is going to just evaporate when I get up to it, though. And can actually hit it.
So in terms of how, of all the games mixed together, how many games exactly, like game worlds, can you go through?
There are 8 worlds, but I mean, like, not all of them have... Sorry, can I please go in this thing and shoot it? I think I blew this up much faster than it wanted me to. There we go. Okay, it's dead and we're going to walk on it. In terms of genres, they've got their one more genre coming up that has not been seen yet, but I think it's got the top-down. There's 2 different shmups. There is the racing game, and there is the puzzle game. So, and whatever's coming up next, it's like 5 or 6.
Okay.
So this is the floating castle. This is the end of the game. I'm going to take 2 quick deaths here to get a full suite of 5 lives. Shoutouts to Frogger, though, because it's literally Frogger now.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
So I'm going to game over here, just so I can continue. It will give me 5 lives. Because this last stage is a little bit longer, and dying even at the end of it, you have to replay the entire thing. Back all the way up to the Frogger section. However, this is our final world. Everything should go well. The Frogger section is kind of a wall to some new players sometimes, but you do it a few times, you'll figure it out. It doesn't look like you can make it past some of these things, but it's 100% okay to get past them sometimes. This section is a little weird because you're basically moving in a grid-style movement, so when you hit up, you're just going to move to the whole section forward. It's not like hit up and you keep moving. So that last platform there is a little annoying. But that's the Frogger section. We still got a few genres or games to go through, so shout out to Castlevania.
Oh, nice.
We are going to stay transformed throughout most of the Castlevania stage because it gives you a ton of the transform power-up because they are in every single candle. So there is almost no reason to not be transformed here or ever die. Ow. Spikes are bad. Taking damage, not a big deal, just due to the sheer amount of transform power-ups we get.
Yeah, you're not even getting hurt sometimes.
When you are transformed, you will not take damage. It's only when you're playing as Rickle you'll take damage. I am losing time as the character every time I get hit, though.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many of them, you don't need to worry about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, I'm going to be running to the right, left here. I'll be going up in a little bit. It did need to sneak in Bloody Tears at some point, so shout out to the best Castlevania track ever. As we wander through this castle. This section here is just strangely reminiscent of the clock tower stage of Castlevania, except with, you know, maybe Smaru instead. Lots of bats, though. Okay, we are almost through this. We have this stage, a boss, and then another final auto-scroller because the game wouldn't let you go without scroller. Okay, we are seemingly going out through, like, the front of the castle now.
Found a wonderful synopsis of this game.
Cool.
Squidimus says, "This is what happens when no one talks to each other during a group project."
That is beautifully accurate.
And look, it doesn't mean that none of the parts are good on their own.
Oh yeah, they're just very different parts. Very traditional Castlevania boss coming up here. This coffin that has a boxing glove in it. Which is very, very, very traditional Castlevania boss. Probably. I don't know. But you can just face tank it and hit it with Getsu and you're good to go. Still, there is one final stage here. It is an auto-scroller because, of course, we get the pigs from Biomiracle and some weird brains that people seem to think that they're from Contra, but they don't feel like Contra brains. But this one's much shorter. It's just kind of a victory lap as I get hit. Oh, okay, that's what happens when you... Oh, I guess you've seen me die, but not from health. That is a completely inconsequential death.
Yeah, it didn't.
Mostly just gonna wandering. Sorry. I do want one power-up by the time I get to the end of the stage. So I'm gonna use this one and just hope I get another. One will spawn during the final fight, so there's always that. But ow, how did that hit me? It was below me. It is good to just have it so you just don't die. The only thing that can kill you when you're transformed is falling. But the extra shot ranked with Bill here just helps out. But so I want that. Or, okay, that power-up just disappeared into the void. That's fine too. I really would like to transform now. The game does not want me to.
It's just not letting you.
Oh, there's no transform power up.
Oh, but you need to find that and then.
Yeah, and one will spawn at the end.
RNG
at the
is
boss.
a speedrunner's favorite thing, right, Jack?
There we go. Oh, absolutely. All right, I've got one now. We are in the home stretch. And this is our path to the final boss, so time will be really, really, really soon. This is our final boss, it's Warumon. This is this weird clown robot. We're just going to stand below him and shoot directly up at his face. And if we do this right, maybe he won't even move. Okay. Time is when I stop moving, so I'll call time in a moment. But that's Warumon. It's a very inconsequential boss.
And that was the final boss.
That's time. Yeah, that is time right there.
Wow.
What was my time there?
43:13.
Oof, that's maybe a PB. I don't know. If I didn't take that death, that would have been a PB.
That's awesome.
That went really well. This is Princess Herb.
Potential PB.
I love the little heart in her hair when the front part.
Mm-hmm. It's cute.
But she gives us a thanks. We get some credits and a roster of characters. But that is YY World 2. I think people should play that video game. It's really neat. And I'm so happy I got a chance to show that off here. I guess we can do some quick shout-outs. Just shout out to literally this whole event, every other lady that's doing runs on this, and just letting me be a part of it and play some games that I have always felt needed a bigger audience. I've got some other runs coming up on Wednesday that I can't wait to show off. And this is fantastic. This is such a good thing. And I think that's about it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. You did awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That went much smoother, and I didn't run out of things to say during the autoscroller, so hey.
That's a great thing.
Cool. Alright. Oh yeah, it is just Blue Rickle is the other character. Which is such an inventive name.
That would be your second player, right?
Yeah, Blue Rickle, and then there's different, like Medaline is the other, like, the other Vic Viper equivalent, and then Winbee is the other Twin Bee equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just staff here. That's all we got. Gosh, that was a lot of fun. But everyone keep watching. There's more exciting things coming up. And I think everyone just have a super good night.